It is a great pleasure for me to be your host for the evening, as I feel very fortunate. I grew up in a small community like the Cowichan Valley, and had many people who influenced and encouraged me to play sports, and also had some wonderful athletes who we looked up to, and it spurred us on to become either athletes or good people in our community. It's wonderful to see what a great role sports plays in our community, and our inductees exemplify this. The inductees have given back to the community, not only as athletes but also as volunteers in coaching or championing the values of sports for kids from all walks of life. So without further ado, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first inductee. Our first inductee is Ron Andruff for hockey. Ron played in the Fuller Lake minor hockey system before joining the Flin Flon Bombers of the Western Canada Junior Hockey League in 1971. Ron was selected as a first draft pick of the Winnipeg Jets of the World Hockey Association, as well as a 32nd pick overall, second round of the National Hockey League amateur draft. In his NHL career, Ron recorded 19 goals and 36 assists in 153 games. During his 9 years as a professional hockey player, Ron had the distinction of winning the bronze medal with Team Canada in the Moscow Izvestia tournament, shared in 3 Stanley Cups, and won the American Hockey League Championship, the American Hockey League scoring title, and the Les Cunningham Award for the league's most valuable player. He played his last 2 seasons in Germany with Mannheim Eisen Rollsport Club, winning the Deutsche Meisterschaft, or the German National Hockey League Championship, along with the Most Valuable Player Award as selected by the fans. For his work as honorary chairman to the Big Brothers Association of Colorado chapter, Ron was nominated by the Colorado Rockies for the Bill Masterson Trophy, which honors the NHL player who best exemplifies the qualities of perseverance, sportsmanship, and dedication both on and off the ice. Ron is currently in, I think we have some video now. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Doug Bodger, 2008 inductee. We're here with Ron Andruff. Hi, Ron. Good to see you.
My pleasure, sir.
It was pretty remarkable that a small community of Chemainus produced 2 exceptional athletes in the 60s and 70s with yourself and Billy Robinson. Can you talk about that time and influences along the way?
It was a remarkable time, and you said it quite right. You know, coming from a village of 3,000 people on Vancouver Island, one doesn't have a very broad view of the world. But guys like Billy, who were so dedicated to their sport, he was playing for Skip Montgomery, who I think was one of the most influential individuals in Chemainus because he was such an extraordinary basketball coach. And we were playing, my colleagues and I, my friends and I, we were playing on the junior Timberman. And Billy and Lenny Irving were great basketball players playing for the senior team. And so we would watch the practices virtually from beginning to end, and then we'd watch Billy stay out in the court for another hour or 2 and drop 3-pointers one after the other. So the dedication, I think, that I learned from watching those guys play early on kind of guided me and showed that you don't have to come from a big city to have some success.
What was it like in your first training camp with legendary hockey players for the Montreal Canadiens, Henri Richard, Frank Mahovlich, Yvon Cournoy, and Guy Lafleur?
Well, like all hockey mad boys growing up, we all watched TV, and I watched the Big M going up and down, patrolling the left wing for the Toronto Maple Leafs forever. So it was a shock when he went to Montreal. And of course, Henri Richard, you know, carrying on the great Richard tradition. Guy Lafleur, the flower, was extraordinary. He was 27 years old when I came along, so we had about half a dozen years in the league. So they were tremendous athletes. And I can tell you, all of a sudden in a blink, I was going from a boy on the island to Montreal Canadiens training camp and being a center in between Frank and Guy Lafleur. It's surreal, I think is the only word I can say. It's surreal. These are phenomenal hockey players. All of a sudden you're between them. It's hard to realize the fact that you're one of the teammates. So it took a while to build some confidence, but I have to say it was one of the most extraordinary situations that any kid could ever have.
Well, Ron, growing up in Chemainus, I definitely, you were an influence in my career. We couldn't believe that somebody from Chemainus would make it to the big time and Congratulations on being inducted into the Sports Wall of Fame, and thank you for this interview.
It's a real honor. Thank you very much. And it's even a double honor that you're in fact conducting this interview. It's a lot of fun for me, and I just wish I could physically be there with everyone today and enjoy this moment, because it's much more enjoyed when you're with a group of people who you love or respect. Thank you very much.
Ron currently lives in Florida with his wife Umbretta and is unfortunately unable to be here with us tonight. Ron's award will be presented by Sports Wall of Fame committee member Ted Webb. And accepting this award on Ron's behalf is Wayne Bianchin. Wayne and Ron began their careers together playing Pee Wee hockey in Nanaimo before moving on to the professional hockey. Wayne and Ted, please come forward.
Thanks. I got to say, it's a hard act to follow, but Ron I met a little over 50 years ago in Nanaimo, and he was traveling back and forth, and everybody used to make a run into the dressing room, because in those days you used to have the leather helmets, and I noticed that a lot of old-timers here that used the same leather helmets and probably passed them on to us. But at the end of the day, it seemed like friendship had been born, and whether he followed me or I followed him, we just sort of hung out together, and we were each other's best friend in the darkest times. And as you're going through junior hockey, you realize that it's not all fun. It looks good when you're having a great game, it feels good, but it's not always feeling good the whole year. And I know that we both started out in the BC Junior Hockey League. He went to Kelowna, I went to Kamloops. Next year we went to Major Junior, and I always kind of remember the sort of the message about Major Junior, because back then nobody wore a helmet. And even in the first years in the NHL and